Hey guys, what is going on, and welcome back to another Iki Island update. So I got a very exciting one for you guys today. This one came in the form of an article that was brought to my attention by PressStart.com. They actually got a chance to sit down and interview senior staff writer Patrick Downs and creative art director Jason Connell from Sucker Punch Productions. And they actually asked some really incredible questions. So I sat down, I read the whole entire interview, and I picked out some important information that I think you guys would be very interested in hearing. It's a lot of information, so I'm going to try to get through this as fast as possible. Also, if you guys like the video, be sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. If not, it's all good. We love y'all anyway. Hope you guys enjoy. All right, guys, so let's just get right into it. So one of the very first questions that was asked was, would you mind telling us a little bit about the Iki Island expansion and where it fits in within Jin Sakai's story in the main game? To which Patrick Downs responded and said, what we're trying to do there is tell a story that deepens our understanding of Jin Sakai as a human being, as a character, the traumas and the struggles that he went through as he became a samurai. And two, we wanted to tell a story that would deepen our understanding of the main game's story in various ways. Third thing we were really interested in is creating this new island, Iki Island, and really making it a counterpart to Tsushima. I think this is really cool because it shows that this isn't just a story about a new island or new enemies or skills and abilities or Jin's father. It's about Jin actually going on his journey of becoming a samurai. So we might actually get some deep insight into his past that we haven't heard of yet, and I think that's actually really interesting. So the next question that was asked, guys, will we be able to access the expansion as of Act 2 of the main game, but approaching the expansion from the later stages of the game? Maybe for those who have completed it, can you play it just the same way? To which Patrick Downs responded, yes, absolutely. That was a conscious decision for us to design a story that would work well whether you were coming to Ghost of Tsushima for the first time and you immediately wanted to play it at the start of Act 2, or you've played all the way through the game, maybe 2 or 3 times in New Game Plus. That story will be equally compelling for the player and for Jin, whether or not they've completed the main story yet. And if they have, it's still going to resonate. So it does seem like it's just going to be a smooth transition no matter what stage of the game, whether you've already beat the game and you come back and play. It doesn't seem like it's just, it has to continue off a certain point. It'll be very universal. The next question that was asked is, will Jin be able to travel freely between Iki Island and the rest of the map once you've gained access to it? Or is it more of a closed off area that you need to commit to? Patrick Downs responded and said, early on, you have to do some things. Iki is a tough place for a samurai, but once you're able to, you can go back and forth freely. And that's again by design. We want this to be intertwined with the main game and not feel like a closed off little bubble universe. It's part of the same world. I really like the fact that we're going to be able to go back and forth in between, not just finished Iki Island and then be done with it. So it'll be just like in the main game where you can go back from Act 2 to Act 1, Act 3 to Act 2, and so forth. So next question that was asked is, can you tell us about what sort of abilities and gear Jin might acquire to combat these new enemies? To which Jason Connell responded, without giving it all away, what I will say is that there are some new skills and some new abilities. We quite like our mythic tails that we had in Tsushima, so leaning into something like that, this game is going to be very rewarding and fun. Now we have actual horse armor as well as horse charge ability that kind of scatters guys out of the way, and you can use it every now and then. So it sounds like the scatter ability that we spoke about in previous videos and that we saw in the initial Iki Island trailer is going to have some kind of a cooldown that we'll be able to use while we're riding our horse. I like this specific answer because it does insinuates some more mythic tails maybe, and also it confirms new skills and abilities to which we still don't know what they are. And that horse armor, yeah, it's confirmed and it looks really cool from the very first trailer that we saw it in, and a horse ability, so maybe the horse will have more abilities than that as well. Next question that was asked is, what can you tell us about the landscape of Iki and what secrets and side quests and activities might await players on the island. To which Jason Connell responded and said, I will say that if one were to do research on Iki, you'll notice this fascinating rock sculpture that is a real place. As soon as you see it, it's just shrouded in mystery. Like, how did this come to be? So some of the art that we put into this place, for one, we created a new biome that's just like ivy covered over everything. There's other areas where we use these beautiful wisterias. I think that was actually shown in our trailer too. So Saruiwa Island, what we spoke about in my very last video, is an actual place on Iki Island called Monkey Rock. And if you look at it, it does look like a big ape. And I think that's really cool that they added this in here because, you know, it is kind of mysterious. Like, where did it come from? Just like he said. And ivy covered biome along with the wisterias, beautiful purple trees that Jin was running through and that you could see in the earlier trailer as well. It just goes to show the effort and time they put into making these incredible environments for us to just mess around in. So next question is, and I think it's actually a really solid question, how long do you expect it'll take players to complete Iki Island Expansion? To which Patrick Downs responded and said, the way to think about it is that the size of Iki and the content, you know, the breadth and depth, is analogous to an act in the main game. So if you think of the first region, Izuhara, it'll have that variety and depth of content and playtime. So for those of you guys who haven't been able to play yet, Izuhara is the very first act of the game, to which I would like to know that it's a very, very large area, and I think it's the largest act in the game, which does take some time to complete. And also it had mythic tales, it had a bunch of merchants, it had a bunch of new characters and many side quests. So I think that if they're comparing Iki Island to this specific act, then it's gonna be a really big expansion and well worth the money if you ask me. But later on, the article goes on to talk about the foxes and the new animals that they added, basically saying that the foxes were like a fan favorite and everybody loved them and it was like one of the favorite things to do. And so they kind of asked why they added new animals. So Jason Connell kind of explained that, you know, they created this whole image around Jin and his spirituality with his home, and you know, they have the guiding winds and the yellow songbirds and of course the foxes that he's already able to pet. And basically it serves to give more meaning to the island than just combat, and it deepens Jin's connection and our connection with the environment as well. So the next question that was asked was, how does the director's cut of Ghost of Tsushima utilize PlayStation 5 specific features like DualSense and 3D audio, and how does that elevate the experience over the PlayStation 4 version? To which Jason Connell responded and said, definitely you're gonna get that DualSense support, and that means you get haptic feedback, you get the adaptive triggers. You know, it's a samurai game and you have a 4-foot razor blade. You hit somebody with that and we do a lot to make that feel good. Now we have other tools to make it feel good. He also went on to say, we spent a lot of time in our audio mix and our weather effects, so when it's raining with the 3D audio, you don't just hear kind of a general pitter patter, you actually feel it's hitting the ground somewhere beneath your feet. There's actually some spatial feeling. So I think this is cool because it further adds to the immersion within the game, along with, you know, obviously the 3D audio is going to be incredible. So maybe we'll hear birds chirping, might sound like they're behind us, and just add to us being able to feel like we're actually there walking throughout the island. And the adaptive triggers, I mean, we already knew they would be used for the bow, you know, to be able to pull the bow back and kind of feel it. But with the sword combat as well, maybe there will be slight vibrations while we're fighting, and I don't know, I just think it's a really cool idea. It's going to just add to our overall experience. Another question that was asked is, a lot of fans are wondering where the decision was made to charge for the PlayStation 5 upgrade and frame it within the context of the director's cut, where some other titles have had free upgrades and new consoles. Can you shed any light on this? To which Jason Connell briefly responded and said, the thing that's important for people to know is that those features that make it so specific to the PlayStation 5, we don't just work on those as a generic hardware upgrade. They are fully enveloped into the Iki expansion and Jin's experience on Iki Island. So this kind of shows that for the PlayStation 5, every single haptic feedback, every spatial sound, everything that we're going to be doing, maybe even solving puzzles or whatever goes on Iki Island, is very deeply integrated in this downloadable content. It's almost as if they created a new mini game just to create Iki Island. There's so much that goes into integrations for PlayStation 5 5 into the actual video games. So another question that was asked is, you're adding the ability to hide the quiver in game, which was supposedly in response to one serial tweeter. What's the story there? To which Jason Connell responded and said, honestly, it's kind of a blessing though, right? You make a game that people care about so much. Literally, this feature doesn't do much of anything other than impede them from being the visual representation of what they want to be. I think that's awesome. I think it means we've succeeded in some capacity, that people want to look a certain way and they don't want to have that quiver on their back. Now they can turn it off and maybe they'll be ecstatic about that. So I think honestly this feature is going to be mainly used for photo mode, because I know a lot of people love to create beautiful works of art. Maybe sometimes the quiver gets in the way. To me personally, I didn't think that it was a big deal, but I really think it's amazing that Sucker Punch is listening to their fan base and adding these little changes in there, despite how much work it takes just to take one little piece out. So yeah, enjoy that. So the last question, guys, that was asked, we celebrated the game's 1-year anniversary recently, and we've seen people loving the game, sharing their favorite clips, photos, and experiences. After all this time, what does Ghost of Tsushima mean to you? To which Jason Connell responded and said, in a lot of ways, I can't imagine it going any better. It was so positive. I wake up every day and I check Twitter and somebody's posted a picture of the art that they've created and the cinematography or something they've created with photo mode tools, or maybe even sometimes actual hand-drawn artwork of Jin. He also states, I'm just happy that it didn't last for like 2 weeks. It lasted literally a year and people are still excited about it. So that means we get to deepen the story and provide a new experience, and people are excited about that. I don't think I could have asked for anything else. I am just thankful. Patrick Downs also stated, one thing that's particularly moved me is I worked on a character called Yuriko, and so many people have reached out and either written in public or just kind of messaged me privately saying thank you, because I went through this with, you know, a grandmother, and this helped me deal with that and I understand it better. That blew me away. That really touched me to my core. So guys, that is actually the end of the interview. So if you guys are interested, Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut releases August 20th for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, and it will be including the Iki Island expansion on both consoles, of course, and on PlayStation 5 it'll also include new Japanese lip sync option, new DualSense features, enhanced 3D audio, as well as drastically improved load times and improved resolution and frame rate. Now guys, they did talk about Legends for a quick second. Ghost of Tsushima Legends will be getting a new update, including a brand new mode, with more information to follow at a later date. They will be talking about Legends soon, and you better believe we're going to be talking about that here on the channel. Lastly guys, pricing. We always talk about pricing, but people seem to always have questions about it, so we will talk about it one more time. If you own the game on PlayStation 4, the upgrade for the Director's Cut on PlayStation 4 will cost $19.99. If you own the game on PlayStation 4, the upgrade for the PlayStation 5 version will cost $29.99. If you do not have Ghost of Tsushima and you're thinking about getting it, the PlayStation 4 Director's Cut version will cost you $59.99, where the PlayStation 5 Director's Cut version will cost $69.99. And with those brand new games, the actual base game will be available immediately along with Legends mode, and the DLC will be available to download on August 20th at launch when it comes out. As of right now, the upgrade to the PlayStation 5 Director's Cut will be available on launch as well. It is not available to pre-order at this time. So guys, with that said, that is everything that I have about this incredible interview. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it was a lot, but man, I could sit here and talk about it all day. I don't know about you, but I'm very excited. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below about this specific interview and your guys' thoughts about Iki Island coming up. If you liked the video, please be sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Thank you guys for watching. Catch you on the next one. Peace.